Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders Without podcast. They have a very fun, awesome, wonderful guest, my new good friend, Irina. She lives in New York City. She's originally from beautiful Uzbekistan. And we just had a wonderful chat just coming here. We had a wonderful chat again last week. We originally connected through the my favorite community online, the Serving Circle. As I said, we had a wonderful chat. And the moment we started talking, I connected very deeply with her because how can you not when first of all, she's very fun to talk to, but also her whole, her motto, her business, her life is all about spreading happiness and joy. I mean, how can you not love talking to someone that bases everything about spreading happiness and joy? But it wasn't always easy for her. She's had, like all of us, she's had a fair share of dark times, difficult challenges. She recovered from her breakup, separation, divorce. She's a single parent now. For a year, it was doom and gloom for her. Like I understand it was not easy, but now she's bouncing back and she's doing wonderful. And she's the most important thing is that she has a wonderful vision. As I said, I just love it, spreading happiness and joy. She everything about her is positivity, is about joy, happiness. The name of the company, business, which is absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Probably the best, one of the most powerful, beautiful, positive names I've heard is Reclaim Your Life. How can you not want to do business with a company? It's all about reclaim your life. And on top of that, she's creating an happiness academy online for physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. And one of the things she preaches and teaches is about practicing 10 minutes of joy every day. I mean, how powerful is that? Not long ago, I read a doctor saying that if every doctor in the world were to prescribe 1 hour of mandatory laughing and smiling to every person on the planet within 30 days, 90 to 95% of all ailments, all sicknesses will be gone because when you smile, you're happy, you're productive, you make your body to be toxic for stress, and 90% of all our problems are because of stress. So in that we can really totally align. She's also a podcaster like me. She has a podcast success stories that she started in 2020. So I really like that. Awesome. I love talking to other fellow podcasters. She's also doing a lot of good things. She completed an NLP program in 2020, and she's currently taking a wellness coach fitness certification. And again, everything about her is about positivity, doing good, and spreading happiness. Our 10-year vision is to create a Reclaim Your Life center. I mean, I've been blessed for the past year and a half to speak with amazing heart-centered entrepreneurs, but I think so far Irina takes a cake as one of the top three in terms of empowering, inspiring, and positivity. So it's absolute honor talking to you, Irina. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Payman. It's a pleasure to be here. You did
Pleasure's
such
all,
a wonderful introduction.
very welcome. Pleasure's all mine. And that introduction doesn't do justice to you because you're doing God's world on this planet because we all need happiness. We all need, joy in this life. And we all need to go back to basics because the best things are the basics things, the simple things, and because they are the most fulfilling, the most powerful. And you understood the meaning of life because it's all about happiness and joy. If you're not happy within, you can be happy and be productive outside. So I really salute you for that. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a journey.
Absolutely. This is what we're gonna, unpack in this podcast. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. So the type of conversations I like to have on my podcast are, sure, we're going to talk about your business, your wonderful business in a moment. But what I like to talk most about is having a look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation. Hence the name Leaders with a Heart, because it doesn't matter what type of business you're in. At the end of the day, we're all in the same business, people's business. People want to know who's Irina, who's Payman, who's John, who's Mary first as a human being before the business person, because when you're looking for someone to do any professional, sure, they all qualify, they all have certifications, but the one you're going to select and do business with is going to be the one you get along the most as a person. If you don't get along with a person, the credential, the qualification don't even matter. So this is what we're going to do on this podcast to get to know who's Irina. So for people who don't know you, tell us, who's Irina as a person and as a human being?
Irina is a continuous learner because I believe we all come here to learn and we can never learn enough. I'm curious about life and fascinated. I'm a multi-passionate person. I love singing, painting, dancing, baking, have a lot of different creative outlets. As a little girl, I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Wow.
And to fulfill that dream, I started designing t-shirts with like a happy slogans or,
Nice.
for personal development.
Good.
Who else? I also love foreign languages, fascinated by different cultures and what they bring. I'm a problem solver at heart. I love when I meet somebody that the other person gets value from our interaction and they live better off than if they had not spoken to me. I wouldn't, if I don't know something, I'm just going to tell you that I don't know. I'm not going to make up a story about it.
Beautiful. Love that.
What else?
You tell me. I think, okay, we could, okay, we got to come back to that at a moment. But now I'm going to ask you a series of rapid fire questions to get to know you further as a person. Ready?
Okay.
All right, let's go. Now, tell us, what makes you happy as a person?
Being in the moment. Singing makes me happy. Painting makes me happy. When I create something, it makes me happy.
What kind of songs do you like singing?
Anything except heavy metal.
Oh, how about opera?
Opera.
Oh,
I've tried some. I've tried.
all right. Would you be kind enough to show us some of your singing skills live at the end of this podcast? Not now. I'm not gonna pressure you, but at the end, maybe.
No problem. I love singing.
Oh, wow. Спасибо, хорошо. That's amazing. All right. Now, tell us, what makes you smile?
Seeing a sunrise, being present when the day is born, seeing a smile on the child's face, or sometimes looking up at the sky, noticing how little we are and how magnificent the world is, and all our little problems become inconsequential, like in the grand scheme of things.
Totally, totally. Now, you're all about happiness. Now, let's take the happiness a couple of notches even higher. What makes you, Irina, come alive? What sets your soul on fire in a good way? What makes your heart sing?
Singing
Oh, okay.
and creating. I love building things from scratch, whether it's a system, organization, or new platform, figuring things out, learning along as I go along, and then creating something. I enjoy the fruits of my labor. So creating something, whether it's physical or digital, and seeing it come to fruition and realizing, wow, I was able to do it.
All right, awesome. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, tell us, what makes you sad and angry?
Stigma about, I know, like single parenting and growing up, that you have this idea of how a perfect family is supposed to be, and feeling alone, feeling somehow broken or not good enough, looking around and seeing complete families. And now it's kind of more common, as opposed to like I interviewed somebody who was from growing up in single parents in the 60s versus now he was a kid, one in a 32 class kid ratio. And now it's, if you ask somebody, it's majority, but still like talking about it and feeling about the unfairness. And
I agree. I agree. Now it's becoming quite a problem. Yes. Now tell us, what scares you?
I don't know.
Spiders?
No, not spiders. No.
Bears? No. Okay, tell us what scares you.
I guess internal doubts, like if I can make it. the imposter syndrome
Yeah.
that I had to overcome before I created the company. And like, who am I to do that? Because my background is in corporate and finance and information systems. And who am I to teach people on self-love and, being you are enough and happiness? Who am I? Am I the expert? No. But sometimes our experiences also count for something, even though they're not academic and they don't have a paper behind them, but it's what you live through.
Exactly. So how did
So
you overcome that?
yeah, how did I overcome that? Little by little, like baby steps.
Yes, absolutely. Now, tell us, what is your number one personal superpower?
I think listening and creating.
Mm, love that. All right, now let's move forward. You love traveling, right?
Yes,
What was the very first trip you took?
I think it was to very first was Canada. It was like
Really?
kind of small. It was back in 96 or 97.
Wow.
It was a school bus, not a school bus, but like a bus trip where they put people together and you go across. But most favorable one was in Italy in 2002.
Wow. Yes, absolutely. Now, let me take you on a different type of travel down memory line. Go back to when you were a young girl growing up. You know, when we were kids, people around us ask us, parents, teachers, family, relatives, neighbors, Irina, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer back then as a little girl?
I wanted to have my own fashion company,
Oh,
fashion design company.
not be a ballerina?
No.
Okay.
And working in a bank, because my mom was working in the bank. I'm very analytical,
Mhm.
but I do miss the creative side. And that's how I'm in Reclaim Your Life. I'm able to use my creative side more so than before. It's not just analytical anymore. It's kind of bringing both pieces together.
Mhm. All right, now, when you were a young girl growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or did you hate school?
I was a good student.
So you liked school, okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite subject in school?
I think it was physics and chemistry.
Oh, so you like making things up and blowing things up, you know? Did you blow up the school? No.
I didn't blow up school, but working in a team and helping others
Mm,
was nice. Foreign language was also interesting, but it was English.
okay,
And
and
then
and what subject did you really not like at all in school?
I think his history.
Really, why?
Yeah, just retelling of what happened and how it happened. And
You don't like that. You like to create history yourself. You have to make things right now. Okay. All right. Now, let me see. What was your very first job?
very first job,
Yes.
shoveling snow.
Woohoo! How do you like that?
It was awesome. I was well, how old? I think I was 17. Just came to this country and we had neighbors across. It was a heavy
Oh,
snowstorm.
oh. Do you remember how much you were getting paid for that first job?
I don't know, maybe $10. I don't remember. It's been a long time ago.
All right, cool. What do you like about that job?
Just
Other
an
than,
opportunity to help somebody, across and also getting paid for it.
yes, absolutely. Now, let's move forward from the time you left school to now. Let's talk about your path. How would you describe your path? Would you say once you get into one lane, Was it pretty much straightforward, smooth sailing? Was it like a turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
Um, I think it was one lane, and looking back, I regret a little bit not following through on like a fashion design or graphic design. I wanted to do graphic design, and I went with a computer. There were three paths: you either do finance, computers, or accounting, and I didn't like accounting. So I stuck with computer information system because it was ever evolving, it was interesting, and I liked the ability to, combine the business and the IT field, merge it, and so I stuck with that. And it's been pretty smooth overall.
Awesome.
I didn't know how it's going to turn out when I joined. So my corporate, I've been 20 years in corporate. Started as an intern, and my whole career was about mortgages, mortgage operations, and all that stuff. I didn't know I was going to do that, but that's where it ended up being by progressing in different roles.
So from dreaming to being a, wow, to being a fashion designer to a mortgage specialist. The fashion designer mortgage specialist. That would be an exotic mix, eh? What was the one thing you did not like about your career and corporate and in mortgages?
Bureaucracy.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. And that applies to pretty much everything in corporate, Even more so if you work with government, it's even worse.
Yes. And everything has to be done by a procedure. So if something is outside of a procedure, like, what are we going to do? Exactly. It's funny because in school, they teach you to follow rules, complete tests, and think inside the box. And then when you go into the real world, you got to think outside of the box. You got to come up with creative solutions to problems. That's what they're looking for, but you're not taught that in school.
Why do you think they don't teach that in school?
I think because it's easier when somebody is more compliant, and it's easier to control as opposed to have free thinkers.
Yes, yes. So would you consider yourself to be a free thinker?
Yes.
Good. Now, let's move forward. I'm sure you heard the saying, change your story, change your life. And by story, I mean what we tell ourselves and inside our head on a daily basis. So when you, Irina, had to change your story to either bring your life back to where you wanted to, or to change your life, how did you do it? Did you do it to help of friends, family, mentors, books, videos? So tell us the process that you used to change your story so that you can change your life.
Sure. So it started first a realization to seeing that whatever was going up to this point is no longer working, is no longer suitable. And my whole process started with reading books, attending seminars. And I think the first thing I ever did was, and also working on myself, opening the door and stepping through the threshold and taking myself out on a walk. Very simple thing, like doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But for me, it was that first step that I took on my journey to recovery. And then attending seminars. I think the first person or the first class I ever took was from Harv Eker, and about inners. I forgot. I think inners you. I forgot the exact name. And then little by little, taking other and reading books. Mel Robbins was a great influence on me as well. Her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. Get out of if something is keeping you. Just count backwards and do the pattern, interrupt. And then surrounding myself with people. So it was not my family. It was through me pursuing my hobbies. So I started dancing again, and I was able to form community. I was doing Argentine tango. I started painting again, and there were people, I don't know if...
Organized tango, did you say?
Argentine tango.
Ah, tango, Argentine
Yeah.
tango. Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, and through pursuing the different hobbies, whether it's painting or dancing, and when I got myself a voice coach, I formed people, you know, who were following the same thing. So I was able to form those little circles of like-minded individuals and personal development as well. And I also joined Mind Valley, but that was a little bit later. I think it was about in 2018 that I joined Mind Valley, and I was able to meet like-minded individuals. And I think it's, you know how they say, you are the product of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So there you go. Because yes, your family, they want the best for you, but if they have not walked your path, if they haven't been where you've been, they don't know how you feel, and you feel alone. You feel, I also had that identity crisis after my breakup, because I managed to lose myself in my relationship, and I was someone else's wife, I was someone else's mom, but who was Irina as a person? So that was that loss of identity crisis, that I need to rediscover myself, who I was. And I did that by pursuing different hobbies. I did that by taking care of my body, my physical health, nutrition, eating right. I don't want to sound high code, but I listened to a PhD professor who talked about the process of digestion from a chemical perspective. And after listening to her, I kind of like, I became a vegetarian. I'm not vegetarian anymore, but at that time, I completely cut off all the meat, and I was able actually to lose 10 pounds, even though losing weight was not my goal. My goal was eating right and taking care of myself better. So, and this is how that physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual came about, because looking back, this is what I addressed first. First, my physical body, because it's something that you see in the mirror, something you can relate to. And all the other components, you know, meditation, practicing gratitude, practicing forgiveness, doing those practices for yourself as a matter of maintaining a healthy way of living. That's what makes it all together. And so that's my recipe for transformation, and practicing 10 minutes of joy. So for myself, I do singing every day, at least 10 minutes or more, to do something that sets your soul on fire.
Wow,
You know
love
how we brush our teeth to maintain good oral hygiene? For happiness, we can do 10 minutes of joy, because just like electric plant generates electricity, we can generate happiness from within. We don't need to wait for some external circumstance or event to occur in our life before we decide to be happy. When we get that promotion, we get that client. I think happiness is a state of being, it's a state of living, it's a journey, it's not a destination. So it's savoring in the moment when you see something beautiful and slowing down, because pace of life is so fast and it's ever so fleeting. If you just slow down just a little bit and appreciate the present moment, like Eckhart Tolle teaches in his books, you know, we only really have this, the present moment. We don't really have the past or the future, but being here in the now, that's what it's all about.
what is life? Life is a collection of present moments, presence, and present in both meanings, meaning now and present as a gift, you know, in both ways. So absolutely agree with you. Now, you said you were for 20 years in the corporate world. What was, go back to the moment that you quit your job. Was that a specific moment or event that made you feel enough? I need to move away from this, or was it something that was progressive in your mind that's and you planned it, over a few months, maybe over a couple of years, and then you put a deadline. It's okay. On this day, I'm out. Or was it something that something happened at your work, or maybe something someone said, and you said, "What? Enough of that. I'm not gonna put up with this crap."
I didn't do a deadline, and I think it's been maybe a long time coming. You see, after my breakup, I saw everything change. I saw men leaving, my husband left, and my boss left at work, and I felt like the only remaining pieces in my life was my home and my job. And at the time, I wasn't ready to deal with the so much change, and so I hold on to the two remaining pieces that were still stable. But I knew deep inside that I give more value than I receive in the end. In my job, I felt being taken advantage of in terms of, sometimes I felt like, they want to put electrodes on my head and suck information out of me. One time in the meeting, another manager in another, like, can we video record you? I said, excuse me. I was always in the teacher role, as I was the subject matter expert in the product that I was managing, and constantly teaching people in different aspects, whether it was accounting or risk management or operations or testing, whatever it was. So the teaching part is easy, and that's what I loved. And not from an arrogant way, like I know it all, but just sharing knowledge, sharing information, making life easier for others. And in my job, I didn't feel that I was, I was passed over for promotions. Like, I didn't feel, even though they said that I am very influential because of my knowledge, but in terms of career growth, I didn't feel I was growing, and I didn't feel I was learning much. I was learning more in alternative methods of therapy, like NLP and timeline therapy and personal development, than I was in the corporate world in terms of other pieces of knowledge.
Yes, wow. So, that's a story that quite a lot of us have gone through that. You feel that you provide us so much more value than you're getting recognized for and all that. And sometimes you get passed over for promotion. That happened to a lot of us, me included. So it doesn't make you feel good. So when you left your job, do you remember the scene? Did you just storm inside your boss's office and say, I'm out, get lost, and make a scene like in movies? Or you just were very polite, very nice, and I just said, boss, I'm sorry, this is not working. Tell us about the moment you announced to your boss that, hey, this is it.
No, it wasn't like that, because it's all in remote posture right now. So it was all online.
Oh, okay.
On the phone or online. So it wasn't
You
like,
tell me that you didn't just send him a text message, sorry, boss, I'm out, I quit. Or a text message.
oh, not text, like we were
Oh,
on the phone.
Oh, okay. How did your boss react?
She wasn't surprised. She wasn't, yeah, okay.
Oh, wow. Do you think she was expecting it, or she didn't care?
I don't know.
Mm.
I
What
think
is it?
she was back down with too many, because there was a lot of work, too many responsibilities, too many streams to deal with, and I was an additional thing on top.
It was overwhelmed. Okay, okay. So now, when you left your job after that conversation, how did you feel? Did you feel empowered? Did you feel, oh my God, what did I just do? Am I crazy? What was going on in your mind after that conversation?
Yes, a little bit of crazy, and kind of going out on the limb. One part of me knowing this is the right step, and the other part of me is like, what am I doing?
Okay. So when you were considering you were preparing to quit your job, did you have any idea, any plan of what you're gonna do once you quit your job? Or you said, okay, you had no idea, it's okay, now what?
Yeah, idea is to train others in NLP and timeline therapy, because
Okay.
I am certified as a trainer, NLP trainer, and now I can do that. So it's doing podcasting, doing coaching, one-on-one group coaching, training others in what I know. This is what I want to do.
Was it easy for you to bounce back from building? So from the moment you quit your job, how long did it take you to build a business would allow you to keep going?
This is just recent. This just happened 2 months ago.
Oh, congratulations. Wow. Awesome. Okay, so you're still in the process. Okay, that's wonderful. I'm super happy for you. Wow. Okay. Now tell us about your business and more specific details. What do you do? What kind of impact you're having? So tell us all the good details about your business.
Okay, so I built online courses. One is Happiness Academy, and it's basically how to be happy again after breakup, separation, and divorce, combining physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental.
Mm.
Then I have also a Facebook group of limitless women, self-love mindset, and support for relationships, where I teach free classes. I run challenges and different events. Other online course is Self-Love Academy, and it's like a precursor to Happiness Academy. And it's all about putting yourself from last place in your life to the first place in your life.
Love that.
Practicing self-love, self-care, how to make it part of your regular day-to-day living, how to set boundaries. I also do one-on-one coaching for people who want to break through to the next level, whether it's in business, relationships, health and fitness, by utilizing NLP and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy techniques to help them break through to the next level. Because it's very powerful thing that sometimes with anxiety or depression, you can spend years going seeing a therapist, a psychologist, and it's all about the content of the problem. With NLP, it's about getting down to the root cause, and we don't need to know all the details of the problem as long as we get to the root cause and we solve that. And same with timeline therapy, going back, or Gestalt therapy as it's known in some circles, getting down to the root cause of the problem and eradicating it. And then you're not deleting your past, but you get to reimagine your life from a different perspective.
Love that. Now, tell us the structure. Is it one-on-one with clients? Is it small groups? Is it big classes? Is it videos? Is it coaching? Tell us the structure of your program and tell us how long is your program. For example, if I were to join your program or anyone listening to this, how long is going to take for them to go from just start it to achieving results? Of course, that depends on every person, but roughly speaking, for example, I have a program, it's a 3-week challenge. So in 3 weeks, you'll have your podcast launch. So for you, do you have a time frame that after such amount of time, you will get this result in your business?
Yes. So the Happiness Academy is a 12-week program.
Okay.
Where we 4 components, and it's videos, and we also meet once a week to go over any questions they may have.
Mm-hmm.
So by end of 12 weeks, I expect them to be happy by institutionalizing things that are in the program and making them part of their life. Self-Love Academy is a 4-week program where it's live coaching. So I would teach a class live, and then they get a recording. They also get self-love hypnosis audio from me that they can listen throughout the 4 weeks. And it's inside a Facebook group, so they can ask questions with other participants. They can interact, and they have access to me. And I also have another program, which is a Happiness monthly membership, where we meet twice a month. And it's a yearly program where we dive deep to implement the tools, the techniques, because it's one thing to learn information, and it's another thing to implement it in your life and practice it so it becomes a habit. Because I can learn a class and it's sitting on the shelf and we're not making it part of our life, because that's what true transformation is about, by making it your own. And I'm not saying my way is the only way. It's adapting this habit to your lifestyle, to your what makes it work for you, and making it part of your life. So we concentrate on different things, like setting a great morning routine. It doesn't matter when you wake up, but how you wake up, what intention you set for yourself, what are the goals, what are you envisioning, how do you greet your morning, what do you do for yourself, and then eating right and exercising and doing the hobbies and doing the meditation, doing the forgiveness. Forgiveness, believe it or not, this one I learned from Vishen Lakianis, has a 6-phase meditation. Every day we can practice forgiveness. If you have a grudge about someone or something, let's say during the day you had a miscommunication with somebody and you have this grudge, it's good to release that grudge the next day or as soon as possible, so you're not living with it. And so you have this, it's a routine that you do, just like brushing teeth. You're clearing your mind from all of those negative threads that could be pulling you back. So it's easier to live. And meditation is like a shower for your mind. Like we shower, with water to feel good, to feel clean. We need to shower our mind as well with meditation.
Totally.
Every day, whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes or 2 hours, but start somewhere. It was my recent addition. I wasn't on board with it in the beginning. It was a relatively recent addition that I've added, and I've been managing it. I haven't had a break in the last 4 months. I've been consistent. And I think it's what you make it, part of your living. And when we work one-on-one, there are 2 options. There is also a 12-week option, or there is a shorter version. We can do everything in 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
If you're looking to get transformed right away, 2 to 3 days, and we can get it done.
A magical wand?
Yes, we dig through. So we pick a problem that you want to solve, right? And then we get down to the detail. Why? What is the root cause of this problem? Not some surface level, but what is really behind it? And we get to dig it, and we get to solve it by utilizing timeline therapy, by utilizing NLP, getting rid of, and then reinstalling, creating a positive habit instead of the negative one.
Wow. A lot of good stuff here. One thing that you mentioned that really caught my attention, you said we need to learn how to stop putting ourselves last, but put ourselves first. And that's something that a lot of people can resonate with, including myself. Do you have any tips for someone that, they've been living their life always doing things for others, whatever, and always putting themselves last? Do you have any tips for someone to stop this trend? Of course, it's something that cannot be done like this in 1 minute, but any step to start the process of moving away from putting yourself last to slowly, gradually putting yourself first.
Yes, one of the great tips I learned from Marisa Peer is putting on the mirror, "You are enough." Three simple words, but by you seeing it at least twice a day, in the morning when you do your morning routine and in the evening before you go to bed, seeing that in the mirror reinforces it, and not just seeing it, but also saying it, feeling it, and looking yourself in the eye when you look in the mirror, when you say those things, and say to yourself, "I love you," just straight in the eyes.
You say to yourself, "I love you, I love me."
Or I love me.
Okay.
And I am enough. I love me and I am enough. And looking in the eyes and reinforcing those habits. Another good thing you can do, practicing those, I know it's affirmations, but the most powerful thing in English language is everything that follows "I am." Anything you say after that. So reinforcing that, write yourself a love letter. How amazing you are. What are some of the best qualities of you? And reinforcing it every day. Another great book I read is The Ultimate Coach. Recently I read it. And Steve Hardison, he has a declaration, that his document, that every day when we wake up, we get to create a day. So by creating, you say, "I am so and so." So create that positive document for yourself and speak upon it every single day to reinforce the idea, even though you think you have that little mind in there saying, "Oh, that's not true. Oh, this is not true." But even though it's not true, another great book is Tell Yourself Better Lies by Marisa Peer.
Better lies, huh?
The negative is not true, but what if you say a positive lie to yourself? And over time, it's going to become part of your living. So introducing those habits into your life, "You are enough. on the mirror, or doing this document or your affirmations every day, creating the life you want to live and the person that you want to be. It's all about who you are being as opposed to what you are doing.
I see. Now you mentioned that's powerful. You mentioned meditation. That's something I've been meaning to get into for a long time myself. Now, is there any time during the day that is best and more productive to do meditation? Because in the morning, sometimes you may still be a bit sleepy. During the day, you might be too busy, or after lunch, if you meditate, you'll fall asleep. And at night, the same thing. So is there an optimum time to do meditation, to start meditation during the day?
Sure, pick a time that works best for you. What studies have shown is that actually in the morning, when you wake up immediately after, I know you feel sleepy, but your mind is most suggestible in the morning before you wake, immediately after you wake up, and immediately before you go to bed. We are in this hypnagogic state, and it's very good for your mind because you're in the alpha state when you wake up. So it's very good to start meditating there. And if you're brand new to it, you don't need to sit for 20 minutes. You can start with 5 minutes or 2 minutes, just simply closing your eyes, being quiet. And I don't know if you like guided meditation, if you just like some soft music in the background, whatever works for you. Just starting it somewhere, however little it is, and then building your practice. The most important thing is picking a time of day that works for you and then repeating, because we want to install a habit, a good habit. So picking a time that you're going to do today, tomorrow, and the day after, whether it's weekend or weekday, but whatever works, and sticking to that routine. Because they say motivation is what gets you started, habit is what keeps you going.
Love that. Wow, beautiful. That's powerful. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. I love those tips. I'm glad I'm recording this. I can watch them after and take notes and apply them myself in my life. Now, for your business, what would you say is your ideal client?
Women who want to change, who are after breakup, after divorce, who feel that they're lost, they know it's not working anymore and they want to change. That's the person who I want to help between ages 30 to 55, who dedicated their life to their family, who spent all their waking hours thinking about it. And now the family is gone. So they have that identity, loss of identity, who they are, and that they are good enough, but they don't know it yet. So I help them remember that they are enough. I help them remember that they do have an identity and that life after divorce can be great if they let it. It doesn't have to be broken. It doesn't have to be bad. And they don't have to wait for somebody to fulfill a hole, because oftentimes what people do is they jump to another relationship to fill the void. But if we cannot spend time with ourselves, how can we expect somebody else, to spend time with us? We need to fulfill our own need and not pass that on to somebody else.
That's super powerful, and that applies to everyone, including men, especially, the alone time, the me time. Even though you don't have anyone to talk to, you have this little thing here, your phone, that's always, monopolizing your time. It's almost becoming almost like a curse, like a disease. Even when you go to the bathroom, you have to take your freaking phone with you. Yeah, this morning and last night I did an exercise for 10 minutes. I don't want my phone with me. And it was hard. It was hard, and I was always looking to, okay, because being alone with your thoughts, that can be uncomfortable, especially nowadays. We used to do that before the cell phones was second nature. We did that all the time because there was no cell phones. I still kind of miss those kind of that world where you didn't have your cell phone. You can have normal interaction with people, and also be with yourself. But now it's becoming more and more difficult to do so. Do you have any tips for that, for people to uh, to reclaim, to regain some of that me moment, and not be 24/7 or whenever they're awake, always on the phone?
Well, first of all, I like to say that in the beginning of the day, when you start your day, don't touch your phone because you are very suggestible. Chances are you're going to buy something you don't need, or you're going to pollute yourself with some negative news. So first, dedicate your first 2 hours of your day for you, because you are important.
Love that.
Set the intention for the day, meditate, go for a walk, watch a beautiful sunrise. Be grateful for where you are and what you have in your life.
Absolutely.
And when you go on social media, a great technique I learned from Brandon Bouchard is setting a timer, 15-minute timer before you turn on your phone or go on social media. And when the timer goes off, you get off the phone, your time's up. Otherwise, it will go into infinity. And same time in the evening for your good evening routine, get off all electronic devices 2 hours before bed, because you want to slow down your mind. You want to prepare yourself for sleep. So no electronics 2 hours before bed. And you're going to feel so much better because you don't have that pollution, because we live in a so fast-paced world, and now the technology, the pace of living, it increasing so much that our brain is not able to process all of this information overload, and we get polluted with all that unnecessary news. Do you really need to scroll in the evening, at night? Do you really need to? What do you learn? On Duolingo, I'm learning French on Duolingo. They have that nice commercial. In 15 minutes, you can learn a new language. What can you really learn by scrolling social media for 15 minutes? Nothing. It's just a waste of time.
Until you fall asleep like I do. Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. I love talking to you. These are amazing. Do you have a book?
Book I started working on, it's going to be The Gift Inside.
Oh, that's beautiful, because you have so much to share, so much of value to provide, and also your story. Wow. The book you're doing, is it your own book, or is it a chapter in a book? What's
My own book.
Oh wow, beautiful.
Just describing my story, how I came to be, my recovery story, and kind of going over the happiness, what happiness is all about, and discovering that gift within that you have inside and sharing it with the world. That's the end result.
Amazing. That's awesome. Wow. Ooh, that is beautiful. Now, so you started your business just recently, right?
In 2020.
Oh, okay. So 2 years. Okay, now share with us, if you can, an example of the most remarkable transformation you've seen from one of your clients. Basically a success story.
The success story was when they realized that whatever they had, or no, let me see. There was actually from one of the people who is not my target audience. It was a young girl in her 20s who just, I guess, wanted to be heard. She was in my Self-Love Academy, and she was fascinated by the practices that I shared with her, even though she was so young, but getting out of clearing your mind, getting out of your comfort zone, and appreciating the present moment. Some of the things I thought kind of were basic things, but it changed who she was, and she became more outspoken. She became more relaxed about the world. She wasn't so closed in anymore. She wasn't feeling that negativity, because I allowed her to experience a different side of her. And this wasn't a group coaching, so it wasn't one-on-one. In one-on-one, it's also very good to see transformation when you start with a person, how they come into you, and when they leave you, a totally different person leaves with different ideas. Their mind is totally kind of blown.
Totally. Yeah, it's all about transformation. This is the most powerful, the most rewarding thing you can see from your clients, is the transformation. They go from point A to point B. Wow. How are you getting your clients?
Right now, it's all organic marketing, social media.
Good, good. Which platform do you use?
I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. I also have a YouTube channel, Happiness Academy.
Oh, wow. I'm
And
surprised by the name.
and on the YouTube, it's all I'm telling stories. I had a month where I was sharing about breakup recovery, different tips and tools. And I also put podcast episodes there for the single parent success stories, where I interview past and present single parents, as well as experts to help navigate the post-divorce journey.
Amazing. Now, let's switch gear now to talk about cause. The theme of this podcast is cause. What cause would you say is dear to your heart, Irina?
It's people believing in themselves. You see, I was inspired by Evan Carmichael when I was in Phoenix, Arizona. It was my first live event that I attended, and he said there is not enough belief in this world today, and you should help somebody who is a step behind you.
Totally.
So I want women to believe in themselves and who they are, and that we are so much greater than what we seem or what we know.
Absolutely.
And it's realizing those parts of us that are there and loving those parts.
Yes, absolutely. Love that. Now, I really love talking to you, but let's start wrapping things up here. Now, to finish, I'm going to ask you a series of rapid fire questions on advices. You ready?
Okay.
So what would you say has been so far the best piece of advice you've received?
Don't compare your journey to someone else's. We're all on our own path, moving along, evolving to that next version of ourselves.
Love that. Absolutely agree with that. Now, what would you say has been so far the worst piece of advice you received?
Worst, I think, or not worst, but don't listen to people who haven't done what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't know what you are capable of.
Exactly.
So surround yourself with people who you want to be like, or people who are already doing what you want to do. Absolutely. So that you can discover that next version of you.
Totally. I agree with that. Now, imagine that you were blessed with a time machine. You can go back in time and sit face to face with an 18-year-old Irina. What's the number one advice you would give to her, knowing all that you know now?
Go for fashion design.
Oh.
Don't listen to the conventional way of being.
You know, it's never too late.
Yes.
Even the present day Irina, which is much more wiser, much more smarter, now much more equipped than the 18-year-old, I think you would be much more likely to succeed now.
Yes, I have that possibility. It's one of I have many dreams. I have a dream of fashion company, a dream of singing on stage in front of thousands of people. Wow. Doing motivational talks as well. Writing books, doing paintings, having my own art gallery. These are some of the dreams.
Awesome. Now, you have your own podcast. Imagine that today on your podcast, you're interviewing the most special person in the world, yourself. So you're interviewing yourself. What is the first question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. What is the first question that comes to your mind?
How did you came to be? I actually did an episode for my 50th episode. I interviewed myself.
And what's your answer?
Believe in yourself no matter what. Don't listen to others. Because there are always naysayers. There are always people who are gonna pull you down.
Totally, totally. Yes. Now, my favorite question to ask is, what is the smallest thing you've done that has had the biggest, greatest positive impact in your life and business? And by small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing you've done. Like for me, it's been starting this podcast. How about you, Irina?
I think for me, it's been getting on this journey and believing in myself, investing in myself. First little thing, it was me opening the door and stepping out through the threshold and taking myself on a walk.
Love that.
Back many years ago. And
Mhm.
little by little, there is another great book by Jeff Olson, The Slight Edge. You know
Oh.
how we change 1% every single day, and in a year we could be 365% better than we are today.
That's one of my favorite books. I've read. I make sure to read this book at least once a year. I love this book. Awesome. Now, if someone wants to connect with you, Irina, what's the best way to do so?
I'm on social media, Instagram. It's re.claimyourlife, and on Facebook, just my name, Irina Shehovsov.
All right, I'll put that. And you have a website?
And I have a website, just my name, irinashehovsov.com. I'm on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn.
What's the name of your YouTube channel and your podcast? I will put everything for you.
Sure. So YouTube is Happiness Academy. Podcast is Single Parent Success Stories.
Wow.
And my page is Reclaim Your Life on Facebook. You can follow my page. And you can follow me just on Facebook, Irina Shehovsov.
Wonderful. Listen, Irina, it's been absolute pleasure talking to you. I really love what you're doing. It's all about positivity, joy. It's fun to talk to you. I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with your presence, with your smile, with your mission, with your presence, with everything you're doing. Stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you, my friend. We'll definitely talk soon. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Bye-bye.